All right, we are back and we are excited. And as you see from the first interview, still having some difficulties, but as we do in this profession, we move forward. So we're all hanging out, like we said, we were like The View, just sitting around having a conversation. Thank you for tuning in. We got some people already logged in to check it out. Thrilled to be here back as well with our team from Identity Automation. Make sure the vendor hall opens today, the expo hall opens, and check out booth 1736 for all the amazing work. And my co-host for today, we have Susan back with us. I'd love for you to share the work Identity Automation it does before we turn it over to our special guest.
So I'm Susan Bearden. I'm the Director of Product Marketing for Identity Automation. And we are located in the Cybersecurity Pavilion in the Expo Hall to make it easy for us to find. And our company does identity and access management, identity first cybersecurity. So if you're interested in learning more, come check out the vendor hall booth.
Good morning. Hi, you're live on camera. Do you want to say hi this morning? There they go. They're running away. See, this is what happens when you podcast live, for sure. How are you? Yeah, we're starting. We're going. This is how we do. How are you?
We're going.
So do you want to introduce our guest?
Yes, I will. Come in here. April, come on. Come here. Oh, hi. Okay, yeah, this is what happens.
This is when we're live. This is what happens.
This
we're
is
having
what
some,
happens.
we're having some difficulties as well.
Good to see you. Let's all get back to work.
Okay.
All right, good to see you. We'll talk about it later. April, get over here. Lacey, get over here.
All right, we have some of our Identity
Automation friends. This is April. This is Lacey. They're amazing. I love the IA team.
All right, so we are now going to turn, now that we've had all these visitors, we are going to turn it over to our special guest. Do you want to introduce? And
Joe Phillips. Well, I kind of thought he didn't need any introduction, but Joe, tell us about yourself.
Sure. So Dr. Joe Phillips, I'm the Chief Information Officer for Fulton County Schools in Atlanta, Georgia. And prior to that, about 6 months ago, I got there. And prior to that, I was a CIO for Broward County Schools down in Fort Lauderdale. And then I've been CIO for a couple of other districts. And before that, I was an Army officer. So I'm just here at FETC doing some sessions and taking in some sessions.
Awesome. Well, you talked about doing some sessions. Share a little bit about the sessions you're doing and the work you're going to be sharing here.
Sure. So yesterday, did a great session on some overall leadership inside of K-12, as well as how we can bring AI into our school districts in a safe and methodical way, as well as some great AI apps that are hitting the K-12 market like a storm coming out right now, and making sure that we're putting our really good safety guardrails around the AI tools that are coming. We want to make sure that our staff are not just out there app smashing with AI apps, but that we actually have a methodical approach, that we're getting good data sharing agreements in place, that we're making these app providers school official under FERPA, getting all the privacy and protections in place there. And then we did a great session on the safety and security tools that are school districts like a storm as well, and how AI can impact those tools as well, and how we can make sure that we have a really good security posture, and how technology is really changing the comes to school safety and security, and that we can't have in the physical safety and security that goes on the ground in our schools and in our districts, and the technology that supports those efforts. Tomorrow, I'll actually be doing a session with my son, Arden, over how districts are failing with special needs and how AI can help. So Arden is a recent high school graduate and autism, dyslexia, and ADHD. So his school journey has been amazingly complex, and he's going to talk about that, as well as the tools that he had to find on his own in order to get himself through his educational journey, as he was repeatedly kind of getting failed by the quote unquote system. And now Arden has his own EdTech consulting company where he consults with other EdTech companies and how they can make their products more inclusive, and how we can really get to differentiation and the individualization that students with special needs have. So that's what I got going on this week.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's exciting. I have a question for you.
Sure.
So, you touched on this a little bit about the innovation, the new innovative apps. I'm all about AI. There's lots of sessions on AI here at FETC, and the need to keep students secure. How do you balance that tension between security and innovation?
Absolutely. So it's really innovation management is what we're making sure that we're bringing into Fulton County schools. And so we have two things going on with AI. One, we have folks that are jumping too far too fast when it comes to AI, and they're really believing that they're being innovative, but the truth is they're experimenting with AI, and in turn experimenting with our students and with their data. And our students' data is incredibly valuable to the bad actors that are out there. If you look at our students' data, it's worth about $25 per transaction, where an adult's data per transaction on the dark web, and that's not even counting ransomware attacks and the different types of things that can happen. And K-12 flip-flops with medical care industry year on which one's the top target for our data. And AI is really no different. It's still a technology, and we just need to make sure that we're spreading awareness about why we can't just go app smashing and experience tools that are coming out. And we're not trying to stifle innovation. We're trying to make sure we manage that innovation. On the other side, we have folks inside our district and other districts that are really hesitant to do anything with AI whatsoever because it's a really scary. Don't have knowledge around AI. Fulton, we're using a model I created called Plant AI in order to make sure that we're not necessarily throttling people back, but that we have a good framework of how we're going to introduce AI. Also bringing folks along that are hesitant to bring in AI. And Plant AI it's an acronym. I'm a former Army guy, retired Army officer, so I like my acronyms. And to go along with Plant AI, I have the analogy of a garden. And it's really, how are we going to build our AI garden? So the P is for planning. So just like with a garden, before you start throwing seeds on the ground and hoping that they're going to grow, you're going to plan what plants you're going to put in your garden, or in this case, what AI use cases you're going to bring in. Once you decide on your plants or your AI use cases, then it's about learning. And that's the L in Plant AI. And that is making sure you're learning about the AI use cases you want to bring in, but that you're also making sure that the folks in your district or your schools understand some general AI awareness and as much AI literacy as we can have with the rapid changing pace of AI. And we're not looking for mastery of AI. That's not possible. We do want to get some fundamentals going with that learning phase. Next is the assembly phase, and that's really getting the dirt or the soil of our garden set up. And just like plants in your garden use that soil to grow and to flourish, AI uses our data and our infrastructure to grow and flourish. And so we want to make sure we have really clean, good data, and that we have all of our data going into the same ecosystem. So in years past, we would have called this interoperability between all of our different applications, but we kind of need to go beyond interoperability now, where we need our data in the same ecosystem. So whether that's a data lake, a data warehouse situation, but in order to have that soil be healthy and AI to leverage that soil, we got to be able to touch all the data and build that into the models inside of our AI ecosystem. So that's the A. And then we start planting our plants.
All right.
And so our plants are the different types of use cases that we can bring into our AI garden. And so the N is new automations. And so we can look at automations we've been doing in K-12 for years. Very common automation is to grab attendance data out of our student information system, run that over to our phone calling system, and give those parents calls that your student didn't show up or your student was tardy today. And that's a simple automation. But with AI, we can bring in some new automation. So there's some great tools on the market that will monitor students' use of technology. And if there's any risk of self-harm or there's any risk of harm to others, the AI will flag that as an automation and send that to people that can take appropriate action. So that's a new automation, just as an example of what we can bring in. And that's a really good place to start with your AI garden, where it's kind of like having the herbs or the tomatoes for your garden. They're just a really simple plants that it's really hard to mess up. Next is what I call team ups, and that's how we can work hand in hand with AI. So that's a lot of these generative AI tools that we can put in the hands of our teachers or the hands of our staff, whether that's something like Magic School or Microsoft Copilot or Notebook LM from Google. Some of these other tools that still allow our teachers to hold the wheel or our staff to hold the wheel, but use generative AI to make them more efficient and more effective at their jobs. So that's the T, and we got all the way through plant.
I like it. Yeah,
and then the AI part, the A in AI is autonomous agentic capabilities. And that's a mouthful, But big in 2025 are these autonomous agentic capabilities, or these agentic bots that'll come out, and having bots that can do full task completion or full workflow completion. We want to make sure that we monitor those things. But a great example of agentic capability is an AI call center for your service desk, as an example. So they can take those calls. It's more than just a phone tree that's automated with a robotic voice. It's actually helping the users. They can put in tickets and that type of thing. So that's really good use case there for the agentic AI. And then finally is what I call innovate boldly. And innovate boldly, for that letter I of Plant AI, is bringing in this stuff that feels unreal or feels like it was pie in the sky 6 to 12 months ago. And we want to make sure that we're taking this stuff seriously. And what are we going to do with our ideas? Are we going to bring in some really cool in virtual reality sessions where you might be able to be in the lab with Albert Einstein as he's discovering the theory of relativity? Are you going to be able to be at a UN with different students around the world and bringing in some AI speakers and that type of stuff? And then for the garden itself, when we're picking our plants and back in that planning phase, you want to break those down into 3 categories. And one is explore now. So that's what you're ready to rock and roll with right now. Next is explore later. So we like it, we want to do it, we're not ready. Maybe our garden soil's not ready, but we're really excited about it. And then there's the explore never. So we know about it, we're not very interested. Maybe we never want Tesla self-driving school buses in our schools.
Okay.
And so that might go in that explore never category. So that's the framework that we're using to bring AI accounting.
Thanks. Awesome. And as you see, we are live. People are still coming over and asking us questions. Even if half of our setup's not working,
Yes.
they're asking us all these questions, as well as you just talked about. I know I'm thrilled to partner with Identity Automation. You probably used some of their products in the past to make your environment safe and to do that. And I think that's incredibly important. Make sure to swing by to talk to them. But you've been here a few times.
Yes, absolutely.
What is something you're looking to take away from this year's FETC?
So I think one of the things I love about FETC is it's kind of what I think of as the starter conference of the year.
Okay.
It's usually right now in January, and then a lot of us are really derivative of FETC as I go to other conferences throughout the country, whether they're state-based conferences or other conferences. So you can kind of see what's hitting the market now in January, which is Q1 partners and vendors out there, what their roadmaps are. And then how can we bring that into our school district?
Sure.
And it also lets us see what other districts and schools around the country, and in some cases around the world, are doing in the area of innovation. And so it lets me keep a pulse on what's coming with the future of educational technology, which is the name of the conference.
Sure.
And really lets me know if I need to make any changes to the roadmap that we've developed, and if there's anything new I need to bring in, any tweaks that I need to make. And then always the networking is just wonderful. So
Awesome.
I get to meet new people. I get to see people like Susan that I've interacted with for years on LinkedIn, but we just met in person for the first time today. So that's one of my favorite things about FETC as well.
Awesome.
Well, I guess my final question for you would be, since the name of today's podcast is Stronger Together, what does it mean for you?
So Stronger Together for me is something that I love about the K-12 industry that we all work in. So unlike some other industries where everything is proprietary, we don't like to share information, K-12, we love, and whether that's our vendor partners, whether that's different districts and schools, we love to share best practices, lessons learned, mistakes that we've made so that others don't make the same solutions we've come up with. And it's really exciting for me in K-12 that we can move forward as an industry together, putting a focus on how we can help our students build successful futures together. And I care just as much about my friend in Wichita, Kansas, and his successful as I do how we can share and actually be stronger together. And there's times that I'll come and do a site visit at his district. He's actually coming out to Fulton next month in February, and we're sharing, and that happens around the country as we are stronger together. But it's also a really good way for our vendor partners to learn what our pain points are, show us what they have going on. And one our partners in K-12 is they actually want to be on the field with us.
Awesome.
They're not just wanting to be on the sidelines. They want to get in. They want to know what our problems are and how they can help us solve those problems inside of K-12.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time. There's a lot of information. Some of the sessions that he has going on, that's really critical information. And I hope you have a great rest of your time here in Orlando.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
And thank you, Susan, and improvising in our new setup for today that just we're going to be rolling from one seat today. So for all of you out there watching and listening, have a great event. The official kickoff is happening now. We are here. People are roaming around, ready to head out to sessions. Head to one of our sessions. All three of us will be presenting over the next 3 days. So have an awesome day. Continue to tune in and listen to the voices of FETC.